Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to MXGPTV.com. My name is Paul Malin, and thank you for joining us today on our live broadcast, as always, from the circuit. This weekend, it's round 8 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at the Patron MXGP of Russia at the circuit of Orlyonok. Third time in a row we've been here now. Paul Jonas won the last two for KTM in the MX2 category. But the first time we came to a Russian Grand Prix was back in 1962, and that was Torsten Hallman winning on a 250cc Husqvarna, of course, the former world champion and legend in these parts, just as much as he was anywhere else in the world. In fact, he won 3 times the Russian Grand Prix over his career, and there only ever have been 3 winners of a Russian Grand Prix. Joe Robert, the other rider from Belgium, he won in 64 and 65, and then in 72, all in the 250 category. Well, 29 degrees, the weather, as you can see if you've been joining us today for our broadcast live here from Russia, has been creeping up and up and up. Now, about a week ago, we lost one of our journalists, Adriano Dondi, and Dondi was an Italian media representative, used to work at Youthstream, and of course, he will be sadly missed. Evgeny Bobryshev takes us for the GoPro track preview here at his home round. It's about 95 meters uphill into turn 1, pretty much 180, falling away on the exit. Foxhole shot line just out there, but as you hit the finish line here, this is the start of sector 1. Riders then head uphill onto this crest, past pit lane for the first time. Pretty high-speed racetrack here this weekend, but a nod to the old school as well. A small single, this pyramid jump, and then we carve away through the first of many ups and downs, through the left-hander here, over the iPhone jump, and round about here is the end of the first sector. And then we drop back downhill into this other bomb hole area, through this left-hand turn, and then we swing right. That's where Kjer crashed in the qualifying race yesterday. Dropping downhill into this bottom right-hander, the first of the long uphill climbs. Takes us underneath the Patron bridge. Of course, Patron, the sponsor of the MXGP of Russia this weekend. We swing right, we hit the first of 3 tabletops. The Monster Energy one here is about 18 meters long, the second one a bit shorter at 12 meters long, and then the City tabletop here, about 25 meters long, hitting the brakes hard, end of sector 2, right there. We're now in sector 3, uphill, a short burst, a 180 left, dropping away again on the exit. See how hard and rocky the ground is. That might play a vital part in the race this weekend. Through the wave section, and then as we come out of this right-hander and hit the Monster Energy corner tabletop, sector 3 ends about now, and from here to the finish is sector 4. But one of the coolest parts of the racetrack here, that Monster Energy jump, this huge tabletop in the middle, back on the gas, over this nice floating jump onto this crest, but you've got to hit the brakes hard here to make the inside line. You go inside, you go double, double. It's about 18 meters from peak to peak, from nothing. But on the right-hand side, a little bit safer option, but tighter as you drop down towards the Monster Energy finish line. And that's a lap here of Orlyonok with Evgeny Bobryshev on the Boss GP Kawasaki. You can hear the riders out on their sighting lap for the start of MX2 Race 1, but Lisa Leyland was down on the grid earlier. And of course, as always, she grabs a couple of riders. And anyway, Jago Geerts was one of those riders. Let's hear what Jed Beaton has to say ahead of MX2 Race 1.
Hello and welcome to a very hot and sticky start line here for the Patron MXGP of Russia. Now I'd like to speak to Jed Beaton first, mainly just because we saw you in France, but you weren't lining up in France because I think you were a little bit beat up from a crash you had in Portugal. Just tell us how you're feeling now.
Yeah, obviously Portugal was a few weeks ago, and I've been feeling better and better every week now, so it's just about getting the time back on the bike and obviously coming back to the races and getting the race fitness and everything back up again. Yeah, it's just the first few laps I need to work on now, which is the hard part, but yeah, hopefully get off to a good start in this race and improve on that.
But of course, looking back to yesterday, best qualifying race result of the season for you. I think you were P9, so that's quite a good confidence boost for you.
Yeah, for sure. That was my my best result in the qualifying race so far this year. So it's really good for the confidence, and hopefully it's a good enough gate pick to get off to a good start today.
Okay. Have a great race. Thank you. I'd like to speak now to the quietly spoken Jago Geerts, mainly about Jorge Prado, actually. He's been pretty much unbeatable until that first race in France. How special was that win for you, for your confidence and for your motivation going forward for the next few rounds?
Yeah, it was really nice to get my first win last weekend in France. But yeah, this weekend is another race, and I will try to do the same again. It's going to be hard, but I hope to get some more wins this season and going to work hard for it.
But this track here in Russia is actually quite, well, you've got fond memories here. You actually won the 125 Junior World Championship here in 2016. A track that you feel good on?
Yeah, yesterday I felt good on the track. I have really good memories from here, from 2016 when I was world champion on the 125cc. So yeah, it's a fun track, and just going to do my best today, and we will see where we end up.
Have a great race, Jago. Good luck. Okay, good luck to the guys here. It's time for MX2 Race 1.
As ever, the riders headed out shortly after those interviews and took a first look at the racetrack, because we've had second race of European 250 and 252 stroke on track earlier today, so maybe a little bit different to how it was for the warm-up, but one thing is for sure, it's still hot here, nudging 30 degrees. Let's take a look at the championship standings, shall we, ahead of this 8th round of the FI Motocross World Championship, the Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orléans. Jorge Prado arrives here still carrying the championship leader's red plate. 14 points behind him is Kjer Olsen, and 66 further back is Jago Geerts. Jacoby is 4th and Mitch Evans is 5th. Then we have Ben Watson, Tom Vialle, David Puchis, Adam Sterry and Bas Varsen. They are your top 10 riders in the points chase as it stands right now. Ben Watson just 3 points behind Evans in that fight for 5th. Tom Vialle just 2 behind Ben Watson as they fight over 6th place as well. So these guys are going to need to get some good starts. Anyway, let's take a look at the GoPro highlights. Qualifying race from yesterday. Everybody safely away as they headed uphill, 95 metres or so into turn 1, but it was the 28 over on the right-hand side on the Red Bull KTM, Tom Vialle, who just edged out his teammate. He had to be content with 4th on the exit of the first turn. Bikes fighting for traction at the rear end. Mitch Evans, who we just saw with the GoPro, was in around about 6th or 7th place. Vialle, though, lost the lead on the opening lap. That handed the advantage to Darian Sinai, but then Sinai would also make a mistake towards the end of the lap, and Chervelin found himself napping as Kjer Olsen came through briefly. Sinai fell just a few corners from the end of the lap. That allowed the advantage to the 193 of Jago Geerts. That was Sinai picking himself up. Just managed to stay ahead of the Italian on his bike at DRT Kawasaki, but the lead at the top was challenged immediately. Prado led after lap 2. Maxime Renault, not so lucky. He fell from 12th. Wouldn't be the first time that the French rider would fall, as Sinai and Chervelin and Mitch Evans continued to battle over 4th place. Evans on the Honda there, number 43 from Australia, found his way eventually past, but it was Watson who had a monumental crash, lost the front on the takeoff towards the finish line whilst he was in 8th place. Picked himself up, he will go to the line in 25th place. A poor start for 29 Jacoby on the FNH Kawasaki. That pass on Ika Larinaga moved him up ever so slightly, but eventually he would come home in 10th place as Evans just landing off the side of the track there on that big corner tabletop. Tom Vialle lucky not to do a Watson as he hit the finish line in 4th. That cost him a couple of positions. Chervelin went through, but so too did Evans. Evans eventually picked the Italian, but it was Jorge Prado for the 4th time who won the qualifying race in MX2. All quiet here at Orléans at the moment. Let's take a closer look at the top 5 in the championship chase then. Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM, 14 points clear of the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Kjer Olsen. Jago Geerts for Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, 66 points further back, 80 off the lead. Henry Jacobi, 7 behind Jago Geerts. So it's not often we've seen Jacobi out of the top 3 in the 2019 season so far, but he's got a little bit of ground to make up. And then we have Mitch Evans on the Honda 114 Motorsport machine, 23 off of Jacobi in that 5th place. Here's how the riders will go to the line, though, for MX2 Race 1 at this 8th round of the FI Motocross World Championship, the Patron MXGP of Russia. Jorge Prado on pole for the 4th time this year. Kjer Olsen goes to the line 2nd ahead of Jago Geerts. Mitch Evans, Michele Chervelin, Tom Vialle, Matthijs Borromee and Darian Sinai. Just behind them, we have Jed Beaton, Henry Jacobi rounding out the top 10. A hard charge through the field for the German. Then Bas Vassen, Ika Larinaga, good to see the Spaniard back for Marchetti Racing Team. Brian Moreau, Zach Pichon, Alvin Osland, Adam Sterry, Richard Sakina, Dylan Walsh, Mitchell Harrison, first time in Russia for the American, and then just behind Harrison, Gustavo Pessoa. Ben Watson will go to the line 25th ahead of fellow Yamaha rider Maxime Renault. Well, if you don't have a drone. Well, as we mentioned earlier, we lost one of our media people, a very close friend of MXGP and friend of the paddock as well, Adriano Dondi. Remember him when he used to work at Ustream. The radio call for him was Dondi, 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 and a call I carried on using right up until the last time I saw him in France. But our prayers and our condolences to the Dondi family. Here is Kjer Olsen, number 19, goes to the line 2nd. He's 2nd in the championship as well on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. What can he do here this weekend? The Dane needs 2 good starts. Not been getting too many of those lately. Mitch Evans, Honda 114 Motorsports. He wore the GoPro for us in the qualifying race yesterday and brought it home in 4th place. He was happy with his consistency. Actually said the track was quite fun as well. So first time here for the Australian. And he sits 5th place in the championship, 23 behind the German on the F&H Kawasaki, number 29, Henry Jacobi. Here's your championship leader, though, Jorge Prado. Despite the hot conditions yesterday, and just as we saw on many occasions last year, he's got that little mental thing out of his brain where the heat has been an issue in the past, certainly in his first year. Henry Jacobi, he will like to improve on that 10th place in qualifying. We know that he's a racer as well, and he's not afraid to get his elbows out, is he? Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. I think it was announced earlier this week that he's extended his deal with KTM for another year or 2. So he can relax now, knowing that his future is safe. Jago Geerts, Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. The only rider to beat Jorge Prado in an MX2 race this year when he was victorious in race 1, the last round 7 2 weekends ago in France at Saint-Jean-d'Angely. Came from behind to do that as well. He'll be looking to do something similar here. Jed Beaton, talking about how much he's been beaten up throughout the course of the year, but he'll be looking to capitalise on his best qualifying result from yesterday and hopefully give us some results like what he had in race 1 at Mantova, where he was 3rd. And Michele Chervelin, he'll also be looking to capitalise on that 5th place in qualifying yesterday. He got a good start. Brian Moreau, 13th in the qualifying race yesterday. Best finish of 12th overall so far this year. That was in Portugal. Adam Sterry, talked to him briefly before we came on air as the riders went into the waiting zone, and he said that just needs 2 good starts. A lot of riders on the same pace, same speed, so it's difficult to make passes. But today is another day, another racetrack, and we are getting ready to go racing here. 30 minutes plus 2 laps here. The MX2 Race 1 at the Patron MXGP of Russia. The Fly Racing 15-second board had already turned to 5. We're getting ready to go racing here, and from the middle of the gate, Jago Geerts, he will steam into the lead, but it depends on what happens on the exit of the turn, where it might have been Sinai as a couple of riders went down. We'll have to wait and see how that one planned out, but there's Prado just behind these 2 riders here, center of your screen, number 61, so this will be interesting. A little bit of fresh water out on track, So it's going to be greasy in one or two places. People like Darren Sinai are going to be the guinea pigs here, but it's Jago Geerts in second, Vialle third, Olsen, the big Dane, in fourth, Evans in fifth place, and then is that Maxime Renaux, I think it is, yeah, in sixth place. Brian Moreau, the first of the Kawasaki's, in seventh, and then Matthijs Boisrome, it looked like, from the Honda Red Motor Assa Motor squad, and alongside him in the fluorescence, is that Larinaga? Might have been Pooches, actually. Anyway, top end of the circuit here on what is a very hot day, almost 30 degrees, hot and humid. Darren Sinai, Bike at DRT Kawasaki, leads the way in MX2 Race 1 here in Russia. Hard on the brakes here, might be, yeah, a little bit greasy there. You see riders fighting for traction as they drop into that off-cambered right-hander. A lot of guys trying to chase the dirt around the outside, and Prado not making any moves at the moment. He's still there in around about 8th place. Oh, hate that when that happens. You wheelie through a hole like that, and the guy alongside you, in this case Darren Sinai's pursuer, 193, Jago Geerts, probably just getting a face full of roost and water as he splashed his way through that hole. Sinai, everybody pulling tear-offs here. The track will dry out pretty quickly, such is the nature of the ground. It's a clay base, rocky, loose, stony. This is where Sinai fell towards the end of the first lap in qualifying when he led, but he gets through there, no problems at all this time around. Now, much has been said about Jorge Prado, who's currently down in 8th place. When he doesn't make a good start, it's a real test of his mettle, his resolve to try and come through the field. And when he has done, he's relied on one or two mistakes from riders to make it just a little bit easier. But we'll soon see how it all plays out here. Sinai leads, though, at the end of the first lap. Jago Geerts second, as you can see. Third is Tom Vialle. Fourth, Olsen. Fifth, Evans. 6, Renaux. 7, Brian Moreau. 8, Prado. 9, Boisrome. And 10, David Pooches, just there in the fluorescent pants. Chervelin is next, then Sterry, then Pichon. Going to be a little bit nervy on the opening laps here, but I tell you what, one rider not afraid to take a risk. The number 19 of Thomas Olsen, he knows from looking up the track that his championship rival, number 61, Jorge Prado, is behind him, but he's having to deal with his young teammate here at the moment. Tom Vialle closes the door on the Husqvarna rider, trying to ride shotgun for his teammate as best he can at the moment. Oh, nice line there from Olsen. On the brakes, on a dry line. Evans closing in as well. So Evans doing his best to keep Maxime Renaux from Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori at bay. Here is Prado, just behind Evans. So he is starting to click off one or two riders now, Prado. Now up into 7th. He's found his way past the young Frenchman. And Maxime Renaux as well. So he goes after Mitch Evans here. So you've got a Red Bull KTM here in 3rd, leading Thomas Olsen. And then Prado has just snuck up the inside of Evans. Pushes the Honda wide as he wants to capitalise on that pass at the top of the hill. So, end of lap 2 then. All of a sudden, Sinai is your leader. Geerts second, Vialle third, Olsen 4th. Prado now up into 5th place. Behind them, Maxime Renaux, Brian Moreau, Matthijs Boisrome, David Pooches. Where is Watson? Watson in 14th position ahead of Beaton, Osland, Jacoby, Sakina, Van Donnick and Hardy Rouzior. Mitchell Harrison, the American, in 22nd ahead of Jiri Vavisto and Dylan Walsh. And Bas Vassen hasn't circulated, so did he go down on the first turn? Conditions will start to dry out as this race goes on. Hot, humid, a cool breeze, well, not even a cool breeze, it's a warm breeze, so it's more like being in a sauna for these guys. Oh, short on the landing there for Olsen. And look who Olsen, he's found his way past Vialle. So Olsen now all of a sudden up into 3rd place. Looking to go around here outside of his young teammate. Here is the 61 of Prado. He's going to switch lines back, chase the dirt, go for a dry line. The back end lights up on Prado's KTM. Needs to be patient. Does Prado. Teammate having a fantastic season as well, isn't he? Watch this. Goes to chase the dirt around the outside, lights it up, back end, over the top of the berm there. Right, end of lap 2, 3. And Sinai sets the fastest lap. Quickly a blitz by Thomas Olsen, who's now 1.9 seconds off the lead. A 1:42.8 is the new benchmark. Geerts now in third on that Monster Energy Kjer Yamaha, having just been passed by the Dane, and this is how he did it. Oh, dropping downhill towards the finish line, got better drive, stayed lower. That was Olsen into second. So Geerts third, Vialle fourth, but not for much longer because here comes his teammate, Jorge Prado. And I was going to say, I can't see Vialle looking to make a pass back, but Prado wasn't too short. Closed down the gap just in case. And all of a sudden, Prado now up in the fourth place. Going after Jago Geerts. Still trying to find his way past. This is reminiscent of the Prado Hurlings days at Assen, if you recall, when Prado was a newcomer riding as a wild card at that GP. So Olsen, the fastest rider on track, he's in second place. He was just under 2 seconds. A good look up the track there for Prado, because he's about 4 seconds down on Sinai, the race leader. Tough that the American number 57 on the bike at DRT Kawasaki has been struggling with Epstein-Barr during the off-season. He's trying to ride his way through it, we know that. But maybe something like this, a good start, a good result, will just help with the healing process, if you like. Olsen, fastest rider on track again. Jago Geerts just behind. So Sinai continues to lead then. Here's Prado, he's now in the fourth, still goes after the 193 of Jago Geerts. But as we drop downhill, here's your race leader, Darian Sinai, on the bike at DRT Kawasaki. That lead was slashed by about 6/10 by the guy that's chasing him, Thomas Kjer Olsen on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, up that long climb to the top of the hill. Then we have the 193 in third of Jago Geerts being caught now by Prado. So 4 laps down, and we're on lap 5, and Prado still there in fourth position. Vialle a couple of seconds further back in fifth, Evans in sixth, Renault 7, Brian Moreau 8 for Bud Racing Kawasaki, Boirame for Honda Red Motor, Asa Motor is in 9, and Michele Chervelin on the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori bike. Puches for Diga Procross Husqvarna is next, as we continue to follow the 57 of Darian Sinai, leading MX2 race 1 here at the Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orléans, but that 1.3 second gap has been cut to absolutely nothing as Thomas Kjer Olsen, who finally gets a decent start, puts himself in a perfect position to try and at least pick Sinai for the win or for the lead. He does exactly the same as he did to Jago Geerts, but he's going to get pushed wide by Sinai. Well, Sinai's not taking that. Yeah, the boys down there just saying, you are back, Darian Sinai, trying to offer as much motivation as possible. There's third and fourth. This is the fight between the two riders that gave us the fireworks in France in race 1. Oh, back end came out on Prado there as he came into land. Doesn't put him off though. So Prado briefly found his way past Jago Geerts on the run towards the finish line, but it would appear that Jago Geerts has got himself back in front in that third place. One of a few riders that Jago Geerts would have raced as a kid in 65s and 85s, of course, Jorge Prado. Not an easy racetrack, lots of unforgiving terrain, sharp little edges of rock. They will go down to the bare essentials with this wet track as well. You'll get that crowning rock will become quite greasy. We'll look to go to the outside again here as he tries to orchestrate a pass on Jago Geerts. Oh, is he going to do him at the end of the straight? See the Yamaha versus KTM power there, and Prado stays a little bit lower. And he's going to get closed down here by the Belgian. He does so. Both riders run wide at the top of the hill. And another challenge for the lead here. This time he'll cut it back to the inside, will he, Olsen? He does. But it was Sanai who was classified as leading, and he still leads as we head uphill on lap 7. And the same with the Yamaha and the KTM of Geerts and Prado, battling over 3rd and 4th place. These two are about 3 and 3.5 seconds off the lead. Sanai doing a fantastic job leading the way here, though. 13.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Opposite scrubs. Goes in the favour of Sanai, the American. Just saw a flash of Jago Geerts come into view there, and Olsen not able to go down the inside of Sanai there either. Here's Prado, just lost the rear wheel of Jago Geerts for now. 2 seconds behind them is still Tom Vialle. Evans still in 6th, Renault 7, Brian Moreau 8. Oh, heavy landing there for the big Dane. Brian Moreau is in 8th, Boromé 9, Chervel in 10, Pooch is 11, Sterry 12, Pichon 13. In fact, he's just been passed by Henry Jacobi, who's having a quiet race in the thick of it. On his F&H Kawasaki, he's in 13th. Gwen Watson is in 15th place, ahead of Beaton, Osland, Van Donnick, Sakina and Ruziorg. Going defensive again, the 57 of Sanai. He knows he can run wide on the exit of that turn and cover the line here, dropping down in this tight right. But again, Olsen doesn't want to get caught behind Sanai for too long, because he knows that if Prado gets by Geerts, it will be no time at all before the KTM and the championship leader will be onto the rear wheel of the Husky, and the gap you see is right there. Looks like Prado's just taking a little bit of breathing space here, actually. Again, he's tried this 2 or 3 times, Thomas Olsen. This time, a little bit more success, but again, let's check the power out between the Kawasaki and the Husky. Wow, tell you what, Steve Dixon's engine's there on that bike at DRT Kawasaki. Nothing wrong with that. Out drags the full factory Husqvarna. Many people assume that the Huskies and the KTMs are far superior to everything else out on the line, especially with the way that Prado is riding, in that he's won almost every race that he's entered this year and every round of the Grand Prix Series in MX2. But Darren Sanai showing that that's a very quick Kawasaki, but he's going to lose out here this time around. Oh, love tap there as well as he goes into the turn. Rubber on rubber. And I tell you what, Prado has got himself alongside Jago Geerts. Doesn't get the clean drive on the Yamaha, and Prado goes through into 3rd. So all of a sudden, Prado has clear track. Down to him now to stay focused and try and close down the gap to Sanai. And it's also down to the 193 of Jago Geerts to try and stay on the rear wheel and force the pressure, apply the pressure from behind, as he looks to maybe try to go after Prado. But there's your first 4 riders. Olsen getting his head down, trying to make a break for it. 1 or 2 mistakes starting to creep into the game of Sanai now. Wow. Absolutely bar to bar as they flew through the air there, but look at the way that Prado just gets over that second tabletop, closes down the door immediately on Sanai, and moves into 2nd place in one foul swoop. So 2 riders in the space of a lap then for the 61 of Jorge Prado, as he now moves into 2nd and sets the fastest lap of the race. The gap between him and that guy disappearing out over sight there is just over 2 seconds. Olsen leads over Prado here. He has worked hard. It's taken him 8 laps to get into 2nd position, and he's done it coolly, calmly and methodically. Right, Sanai, how long can he keep Jago Geerts at bay for in that 3rd place? Well, the answer looked like he was, well, he would have seen the kind of moves that Olsen was trying to put on Sanai while he was sat there in 3rd. Whoa, a back end lighting up there as the rear wheel of that Yamaha catches a slick patch on the exit of that turn, top end of the circuit. Tom Vialle is starting to close in as well, look. So Sanai, oh, and a mistake from the American. That is all that was needed for Jago Geerts to find his way through into 3rd place. A lot of action going on here in the early stages of MX2. race one, and there you see Vialle closing, and there's Mitch Evans as well, the Honda 114 Motorsports rider, just behind the young Frenchman there, number 28. Give you a fresh countdown of the top 20 when they hit the line at the end of lap 9, which is what we're on now, and whoa, he had to hit the brakes there. Tell you what, he almost pulled a stoppie then, did the 28 of Vialle. So 9 laps complete. Just watch this here. He's on the brakes, and he was almost 90 degrees to, well, he was. Look at that. Oh, how he avoided the 57 there, I have no idea, but both riders remain on track. So Olsen, 2.6 seconds clear of Prado. And Prado's teammate goes past to move himself into 4th place. Mitch Evans just lining up the American as well. So Olsen leads Prado. Geerts third. Vialle now 4th. Sinai on the Kawasaki is 5th. The guy at the back there in red for Honda 114 Motorsports, Mitch Evans of Australia, is in 6th. Maxime Renault is about 7-8 seconds behind these guys. Then we've got Brian Moreau, Matthias Boisramé, Chervelin, Jacoby, Pichon, Sterry in 13th. Porches 14. Watson is 15. Beaton 16, Austin, Van Donnick, Sakina and Ruzior. Dylan Walsh is outside of the points for Revo Husqvarna UK in 21st place. His teammate in 17th, but was it only a matter of time before Sinai started to succumb to the riders around him, because still trying to ride himself into fitness, doesn't ride during the week, can barely train during the week as well. Such was the severity of his symptoms. Oh, Moreau, 225, just making a mistake coming out of the turn as he's under pressure now from Boisramé. These two fighting over 8th place. The Bud Racing Kawasaki and the Honda Red Motor Asa Motor machine. So Evans now up in the 5th place, just ahead of these guys. Check this out. Oh. Matthias Boisramé is bringing the 747 of Michele Chervelin in the yellow and black just behind him as they gang up on Brian Moreau, the rookie to the class. In fact, the two guys ahead of the Yamaha rider here, both rookies in the class. The one in the middle on the Honda is the defending European 250 champion, or reigning, I should say, not defending. Of course, he's MX2 now. Just behind them, Jacoby in 11th place. Look, starting to put a hard charge on. So too Boisramé. The Honda not able to outdrag the Kawasaki. Might get it done here though, but Moreau just a little bit more efficient at the back wheel at the top of the hill. So Moreau 8th, Boisramé 9, Chervelin 10 on the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori machine. And Jacoby right there as well, and he runs up the inside of Chervelin. Not able to go through though, but these three holding each other up as Jacoby has whittled down a huge gap at the start of this lap. Yeah, Moreau looking left, looking right, trying to keep Boisramé behind him. And that's just playing perfectly into the hands of Jacoby, because all of a sudden, in the line of sight as Boisramé almost off the side of the track there. Jacoby just off the back of this group. Boisramé does get down the inside of Brian Moreau. So as they hit the line to start lap 12, it's the Honda who leads the way, but he runs wide and he's now under attack from the Yamaha of Chervelin. Chervelin might find his way through at the end of the straight here, but the Frenchman just keeping the Italian at bay. And Jacoby looking to go around the outside of Brian Moreau, and he does so. So 3 positions lost to Brian Moreau in the space of a lap. So Brian Moreau all of a sudden getting pushed down to 11th place. Boisramé up to 8th. Chervelin 9, Jacoby 10. Meanwhile, keeping an eye on what's happening at the top end of the leaderboard, Olsen just 1.6 seconds clear of Prado, and here it is, the gap, with about 10 minutes plus 2 to go. is that 1.6. He's doing his best to close it down. First sector, Prado pulled back about a tenth. Second sector, they're almost equal. Third sector, Prado pulls back about 3/4 of a second. So you would have to surmise that we're going to be looking at about a second or maybe 9/10 of a second as they hit the line at the bottom of this next hill. So all of a sudden, Kjer Olsen is going to find himself on the ropes a little bit. Watch this. So over the line, a 41.6 and a 41.0, just over a second between Olsen and Prado. Oh, just catches the... there is a fantastic view from our overhead drone cam. Gives you some impression as to the amount of elevation that we have here at Orlenok in Russia. So Olsen leads, but not by much. Dropping down the hill over on the far side of the circuit before the uphill, the long uphill climb. Olsen managing the gap at the moment. It's the first time we've really seen these two going head-to-head. Just looking at Argentina, there was no contest really. The Netherlands, the same. Italy and Trentino. Mantova, it was muddy, and Olsen a 6 and a second. I think this is the first real time we've seen these two, the two riders in the championship. Olsen in second, Prado leading as the points chase, going at it for a race win here. Right, Chervelin all over the back of Matthijs Boisramé. So Boisramé, 172 on the Honda. See how those ruts are starting to chew out. I hope they leave those in there, because they're going to be real deciding factors on the track. Those two little deep ruts, riders are going to have to start looking for new lines. As soon as you take them out, just takes away some of the technical ability. You see, like, riders go inside and make a mistake. The rider on the outside can find his way through. So here's Sanai. So he's now in 6th place. So this was him leading earlier on. And Olsen ran his way down the inside to take over the lead. Then Prado came through into second. That was about lap 8. And Prado set the fastest lap then. That's that tricky corner. That was Jago Geerts going through to third. Vialle going through into 4th place. And then this was Mitch Evans finding his way into 5th with that pass around the outside of Sanai. So Sanai now still in 6th place, about 18 seconds off the lead. That gap's still about a second between Olsen and Prado. A question of who blinks first. Almost identical machinery, you would think, but different exhaust pipes. They're free to tune these things differently as well, but Husqvarna very much carving their own identity over the last couple of years. Olsen doing a great job of keeping the points leader and defending champion at bay at the moment, but for how much longer? Olsen last time around set his fastest lap of the race of 41.1, but that was still a tenth slower than Prado at the end of lap 13. They're working their way towards the end of lap 14. Here's Maxime Renault just going through. And then we've got Boisramé, Chervelin and Jacobi still fighting over 8th place. 1.2 the gap between Olsen and Prado. So just keeping an eye on that as we go back to this battle here. Jorge Prado. Oh, overshooting at the end of the straight there. That would have cost him a little bit of time. Almost looked like he misjudged the tabletop there, the wrong one. Front end got a bit high on him. Hasn't stopped him going after the 19 though. Kjer Olsen leads. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, the Red Bull KTM of 61. Jorge Prado right there behind him in second. Having to ride a little bit loose now is Prado. But it's effective because he's got himself right back onto the rear wheel and he's getting ready to line up a pass here with 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. France, we saw a win for the first time this year from anybody other than Jorge Prado in races that he's lined up in. And that went to Jago Geerts, who's about 3 seconds behind these two in third. Are we going to see a second race defeat in as many GPs for Jorge Prado? 4 minutes 40 plus 2 laps is a long time around this racetrack. Lap time's about 1:41 or 2. These two really pushing the envelope here on what is a very hot day. 30 degrees or thereabouts. Brent Watson now up into 11th place. Just caught an eye on the screen there. 33 seconds off the lead. He's found his way past Brian Moreau. Jed Beaton is 13, Sterry 14, Van Donnick, Osland, Sakina, Walsh, Harrison and Ruziorg. Prado just sets the fastest lap of the race as he comes through at the end of lap 15. And he has got about a half a second between him and Olsen. So it's go time here for Jorge Prado, the Spaniard. Looking to add another 3 points to his World Championship advantage over Thomas Olsen. We came here, the gap was 14 between Prado and Olsen. It'll be 11. David Puch is out. Diga Procross Husqvarna rider then makes his way disconsolately back towards the paddock. Thomas Olsen looking to try and claw back 3 vital World Championship points. It'll be 11 points if it stays like this going into race 2. Prado goes through. It'll go from 14 to 17. That's how much is at stake here. No Claudio Di Carli here this weekend as well. Had a slight minor surgical procedure. He won't be back until probably Germany. But Chervelin has found his way past Boirame. So the Yamaha SM Action Migliori rider now finds himself up into 8th place. Jacoby still can't find a way through. Maxime Renault just at the top end of the straight. So the two Yamahas line astern, but it's the young French kid who leads his more experienced Italian teammate. There's Watson coming into play as well. He has taken advantage of this freight train of riders holding themselves up, and he's got right onto the back of the top 10 here, Watson. Jacoby, he'll run it down the inside. He won't think twice. He's not scared. That also plays into the hands of Watson. He takes the Frenchman as well. Jacoby had one thing on his mind there as he went for Boirame. So Jacoby then, watch this, up to 9th. Runs him wide while those two get untidy. Watson was there right at the right time to pick up the pieces. So Watson now 10th. Right, Watson then, after his big get-off yesterday on the finish line, looking to pick up some points in the latter stages of this race, but this gap down to nothing. It was just over a second at the start of the lap. And Prado, oh, he's dangerous when he does that, isn't he? Goes to the inside. That might be a last lap dash for the pass, if he's not already found his way past Olsen by the time we are just a handful of corners away. But it's been very effective here as well. Stays nice and low. Has to switch from right to left as he comes into land there, and he looks to square off as well. Nice choice of lines there. He might get the way round, but he doubles his way through. He's short. Nothing in it as they hit the line. 3/10 in fact. How much more can Thomas Olsen take? The pressure being thrown at him from Jorge Prado, who really hasn't had to work this hard all season long. Nice and low over there as well, isn't he? Very effective, very efficient. Here's the Red Bull KTM. Are we going to see a pass at the bottom of this next downhill? We've got back markers on the horizon. Turns early at the top of the hill, does Prado, but Olsen right there will be looking for blue flags any moment now. As we start to get in amongst the lappers, please don't let this one be decided by a lack of communication. Oh. Prado. Olsen is just absolutely spewing underneath his helmet. Just wanted these guys to get out of the way. They do just that. They move on by, they let the leaders go through. Adam Sterry now into down to 14th. Van Donnick has found his way by on the Honda Red Motor Asa Motor machine. Right, Prado follows Olsen at the end of the straight this time around, but there's absolutely nothing in it now as we enter the final 2 laps of the race here. Olsen knows, and he's known for about the last 8 laps, that Prado's been coming. He needs to defend at the top of the hill here. He doesn't do that, or does he? Oh, he does just about cover his line as he goes into that right-hander, neatly over the double, goes single, and then launches, and Prado almost off the side of the track there as he finds that he's looking desperate to pick up these 25 points. Trying to rattle Olsen. Watch this, just comes out of view, almost off the side of the track. I tell you what, he would have gone through it, straight through those banners if he was offline. There's a lot of loose rubble just on the edge of the track there. Whoa, heavy landing as he comes into land there for Prado. We are on the final lap and a bit. Fantastic scrap between the top 2 in the championship, but Prado is going to find a way through at the bottom of the hill here. Olsen gets run wide. Oh, heartbreak for number 19, but perfect timing for Prado. He's done that himself all through the race when he started passing riders, Olsen, and he just left that door open, gave half a sniff to the 61, and all of a sudden he now finds himself in second. A lap and a half to go. Down to Prado now, just to try and keep a cool head. He knows how to win a race though, doesn't he? There's Jago Geerts. He's not that far away. Is he going to jump himself into second position on the basis that with a lap and a half to go, Thomas Olsen's head may have just gone? There's first, second and third. Jorge Prado so far has 11 race wins this year. That guy there, Jago Geerts, has 1. We've had 14 races. Olsen there in the middle. He's had 2 wins, and that was when Prado didn't line up at Matterley, round 2. What has he got? Has he got anything left in the sack to try and pull back that position he just lost to Prado? And what about Jago Geerts? Is he going to muster up something on the final lap here to rub salt in the wounds of Olsen, who was passed here a lap ago? Great recovery this for Jago Geerts. He looked like he was out of it, letting these two just get on with it, but from out of nowhere he has just been putting in good lap times. A 40.6 on the last lap, a 42.8 for Olsen on that same tour. Prado, Olsen, Geerts separated by about 3 seconds as they entered the final lap, and Geerts is not done yet. Are we going to see a last lap dash for second? And is it going to be the Yamaha rider? Just a little bit out of shape there at the top right-hand turn. Riding with growing confidence after his race win in France 2 weekends ago. Prado takes a long look over his shoulder as he launches downhill for the final time. I think Jago Geerts is just going to run out of time as he tries to make the pass for second. He's got 2 corners to go. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but what a race we've had here. MX2 race 1 in Russia. Jorge Prado started around about 7th or 8th. He gradually chipped his way through, and with a lap and a half to go, Prado took the win, and that is a big win as well because he did it from behind at the expense of Thomas Olsen. Here's how he did it. Just a lap and a half ago. That was the earlier off-track excursion, but then just a few corners later, managed to run it down the inside of Olsen. Looks over his shoulder, wants to know who else is there lining him up, but it was a big win for Jorge Prado. We'll give you the top 20 classification in just a moment. But Chervelin over the line in 9th place, Watson 10th, so Jacoby found his way past Chervelin on the final lap. So far then, we've got Prado, Olsen, Geerts, Vialle, Evans, Sanai, Renault, Jacoby, Chervelin and Watson over the line. Warame, Jed Beaton 12th. These are all unofficial, of course, for now. Brent Van Donnick 13th. But let's go talk to Jorge Prado. Here he is with Lisa Leyland.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. A rare bad start for you, so you really had to work hard in that race. Just how tough was it to get this race win?
Yeah, it was a tough start, you know. I got, not too bad, I got a little wheel spin after the gate, and, you know, I got together with many riders in the start. I had to make my way up, but I did it 2 laps ago. I pushed a bit extra, and, you know, I got him on the downhill, so really looking forward for the second moto.
Good luck for the second race.
Short, sweet, and efficient. His post-race analysis, just like the efficiency out on track. Jorge Prado wins by 1.2 seconds over Thomas Olsen in what was a fantastic MX2 race here in Russia. Jago Geerts just a little bit behind them in third, but not much. 1.5 seconds off of Olsen. Vialle fourth, and Evans was fifth. Great ride from Darian Snyder, come home in sixth, but big win for Jorge Prado here in race 1. Give you official confirmation then, MX2 race 1 here, the Patron MXGP of Russia here at Orlinok. A win for Jorge Prado, Thomas Olsen second, Jago Geerts third, Tom Vialle fourth, Mitch Evans fifth, Sinai sixth, Maxime Renault and Henry Jacobi finding his way past Chervlin on the final lap. Watson was 10th, Matthijs Borromée 11, Jed Beaton 12, Brent Van Donnick, Adam Sterry, Alvin Osland, Richard Sakina, Dylan Walsh. Mitch Harrison found his way into 18th, past his teammate at Bud Racing Kawasaki, Brian Moreau, on the final lap. And Hardy Rouzior came home in 20th place, the number 75 on the WZ Racing KTM. Check out those highlights. What a fantastic race we had here in MX2. The gate drop, wasn't sure if it was Jago Geerts or Darian Sinai that grabbed the foxhole shot, but because it's a weird line for the foxhole shot line this weekend, and it might have, well, we'll look closely at that in a minute, but Sinai led in the early stages, closely followed by Jago Geerts, Tom Vialle, Thomas Olsen, Mitch Evans, and Maxime Renault. Wasn't long though before Olsen started carving his way past people, made a move on Vialle to get himself into third, but the Frenchman was not taking it lying down. Meanwhile, Prado up the inside of Evans to get himself into fifth towards the end of the first lap. Olsen eventually did find his way into third with this pass on Tom Vialle. Then he went after Jago Geerts, got himself into second. And then, after tailing his teammate for a few laps, Prado eventually found his way past his teammate to get himself up into fourth. Then we had different battles out on the track. The battle for first and second between Sinai and Olsen. That changed hands though. And so too did this battle here. Prado for third on Jago Geerts. That was around about the halfway stage. Prado then went after Darian Sinai. 2 positions in a lap for the number 61. And then the floodgates started to open. Sinai just sort of suffering from fitness. Got caught out and was getting past. This was Evans finding his way past for 5th. And that was around about lap 10. The battle for 8th, 9th and 10th was Borromée as David Puches pulled out, but Borromée and a whole bunch of guys, Jacobi, Chervlin, all ganging up. Watson found a way through as well as Jacobi opened the door as he pushed the Frenchman wide. A lap and a half to go, and it was the 61 of Prado who nudged aside Olsen, and he managed to hold on by just over a second from the Dane. 12 wins in a season now for Jorge Prado. But how much did that take out of the young Spaniard? Let's take a look at the foxhole shot, shall we? It was very tight, but was it conclusive in the end? Oh, Darian Sinai by about a week. His first foxhole shot of the year. So he'll be pleased with that. Looks like he's fresh out of the shower there as well, bless him. Didn't pick up any last year, actually. So Prado still heads that up though with 9, Tom Vialle 4, Sinai on 1, Rowan van der Moosdijk on 1 as well from Portugal. Woo! All right, let's get our breath back, shall we? And take a look at some of the best moments from MX2 Race 1.